the two options. So the two options were that so the general topic is that I want to investigate in agriculture here in the south of Spain, specifically in the region of Andalusia. This is where my city Cordoba is located, and it's a very significant and valuable region in Europe for the production of vegetable, fruits, and especially olives. And so first I wanted to focus on the production of fruits and vegetables, and there's mainly two provinces in the south where they grow fruits and vegetables for the export. And it's also commonly said that here this region of Andalusia is the supermarket of fresh fruits for whole Europe. And but now I have been refocusing a bit more on the production of olives and olive oil, which is not so much in those cities that I just mentioned, but more in Cordoba, where I am right now, and a little bit more to the north. And actually, Spain is the biggest exporter of olives and olive oil in Europe, before Greece and Italy. So it has a very it's a very valuable source for export source. And I think I'm in a good position to get more knowledge and more resources about the topic, because I have gotten to know some people personally that work in that industry, and that includes managers of olive farm corporations, also scientific researchers in that topic. So I think they will be a good resource for me to find out more. And specifically what I want to investigate in is how does because the olive farms are definitely a monoculture here in the south. And I would like to share maybe also with you a photo of that, but I have it on my phone, so maybe it's not a good place right now. So I want to investigate how that affects biodiversity. Actually, before I wanted to focus on water, specifically with the topic of fruits and vegetables, because there is a lot of illegal water usage, and there's a huge process of desertification. But now I readjusted my research a little bit, because maybe the other topic is something that I might be a bit more interested in, but I think because of the sources that I have allocated, I think it could be more valuable this way.
Mm-hmm. And the biodiversity, could you say just something about relationship between the olive production and biodiversity? How are you seeing that connection?
Because I know one of my friends, for example, that is a researcher in how to make olive trees or olive fruit itself more, or how it is not very resistant to insects and other animals or pesticides. So I think because of the growing olive farms and the fact that there's this monocultural expansion, I think it has an effect on, it reduces biodiversity by because of the growing surface because the trees are expanding and there's less diversity in the natural environment.
Okay, great. So many are topics, like olive trees, you could talk about biodiversity, you could talk about water, you could talk about climate change. I find that sometimes maybe some people want to focus on a topic and then show how it impacts each of those, not maybe just one, but all three. Or you can take, just one. It's whatever works, for you.
Yeah, I would maybe like to connect also the water aspect, because it's something that I really wanted to focus on in the beginning. And it was also a topic that I was really interested in, because I knew that this is like a real issue here in the area. But I think also it's good, the other topic I chose.
Yeah. Whatever works for you, and you feel that you're excited about it and you want to share information. Yeah, that's great. Did you have any kind of art or music that you wanted to share with us today, Teresa?
Yes. If someone would like to go first, I will look for it.
Okay. Tane, would you mind giving us a little bit of a reminder of your topic, and then maybe if you have an art piece to share with us or some music?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Professor Shak. My topic is focused mainly on climate change, but it also touches biodiversity and water. So basically every weekend here in New Orleans, I'm working with an organization called Farming NOLA, where I go every weekend to plant trees in various parts of the city. And we also grow fresh fruits and vegetables for the food deserts here in Louisiana, where they don't have access to fresh food at all. So we grow fresh fruits and vegetables and donate them to organizations who distribute them to the people in need. So when I was exploring some areas of New Orleans which are very close to the river Mississippi, so I noticed that there were hardly any trees there. So I asked one of my mentors in the organization about it. He's actually a biology teacher here in Newman High School. So his inputs were extremely valuable. So he told me about how the area has been deforested because they needed to build residential quarters in the city. So they basically demolished all the trees in the area, and because of that, this area is now very vulnerable to flooding and high-speed winds. And some of these areas are still devastated by the damages done by Hurricane Ida. And then I asked him about how long this has been going on for. So he said that the deforestation first started in the coastal regions of Louisiana because the coal and oil companies, they needed to extract their minerals from the swamp area. So they started clearing out trees, and the sea level was rising because of climate change. So Louisiana was actually losing land very fast. And then the deforestation started coming closer to the cities. And now even the cities are very prone to flooding and high-speed winds. In fact, 2 weeks ago, when there was heavy rain, the streets were flooded again because there are just so few trees that can help stop the flow of rainwater. So my project idea was to make people aware of the importance of trees here, because I noticed that many people here, they actually don't want trees. They think that if we plant trees, the trees are taking up space in their personal property, or the trees are taking up the parking space they have. They can't park their cars there if we plant trees there. So many people actually refuse if we go out to plant trees in their neighborhood. So I believe that it is important to make them aware about the importance of trees, especially because of the proximity of the danger here to flooding and high-speed winds. So I decided to make a poster which shows the importance of trees, graphically mostly, so that it is accessible to everyone, to people of all ages and all backgrounds. So a poster which graphically shows how trees make the area more resistant to climate change and how it can protect the houses from flooding and hurricanes.
Wow, that sounds excellent, Tane. And you've had personal experience of the what happens when there's heavy rains.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned about environmental education, really, and that your project is really about educating, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I talked yesterday with Alejandra in Sanata Dharma University in Indonesia, and her project is really focused on environmental education. She's just so surprised at how much pollution people are polluting the rivers and the use of plastics, and she's just surprised how people don't seem to be aware of the consequences. Do you have any art or music that you'd like to share with us, Tane?
Yeah, sure. So should I share my screen?
Yes, I think you should be able to.
Okay, just a minute. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
This is the artwork that I've chosen.
Wow, that is so stunning. Tell us about it.
So this artwork, on the surface of it, the message seems very clear because it shows that in an area where there are trees, the animals, basically nature is thriving, and even the soil is healthy, and basically it is an image of health and safety and security. Whereas towards the right, where the trees are wilted and the soil is destroyed, we can see that there's basically, even the sky is it has a dark color, and basically it shows a sense of danger and how vulnerable we are left without nature, without the cover of trees, and without um, basically if we harm nature, we are harming the planet, and we are basically destroying our own home. And this, I believe, this is what the artwork shows.
That is really all kind of shocking and beautiful at the same time. Well, thank you for that, Tane.
Yeah, and I also have a music piece. I can share the link in the chat so that everyone can listen to it whenever they want.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about the music piece, so when we listen to it, we'll understand why you selected it?
Yeah, so I just shared the link in the chat box.
Okay.
And the music piece is basically from a documentary. So the documentary crew actually explored the coral reefs in some part of the world, and they were shocked to see how bad the condition is because of the pollution and because of all the oil and coal companies mining everything. So they were shocked at how bad the condition is and how the coral reefs are basically dying. So in the song, the singer talks about how if we don't wake up soon enough, all of this could be gone forever and we could never recover. And if nature is destroyed, basically it means the end of the world as we know it. And basically she urges the listeners to wake up and realize the importance and take action. And that is what the song is about, basically.
Thank you. I'll look forward to listening to it.
Thank you.
Yes. Teresa, did you find your art piece?
Yes, I have it. I will also share my screen, and the song I will then also share in the chat box.
Great.
Okay, so the artwork, you should see my screen now. The artwork that I selected is a photograph, and so here you can see a huge farm of olive trees, and it should represent the monoculture here. And just the other week, because I don't often have the chance to drive with a car through the region here. Usually I travel around by train but this time I was in the car, and I was driving all around the hills not on the highway street. And it was very impressive to see, all you could see on the horizon was olive trees. And then I searched for some photographs, and they were, in a way, like, it looks very beautiful in a way, but also very shocking. Seeing that, wow, as far as you can see, this is the only thing it has. It's for many people in this region work in this sector as administrators, as farmers, as who knows what more you can work there. I will investigate in that, but yeah.
Wow. And there's no people in that picture, only olive trees.
Yes, and the song, or two songs that I chose, one is talking about old men. They also appear in the video, and they have like a small agricultural company that produces fruits and vegetables, or mainly vegetables. And it talks about that there's this man arriving. He's like a businessman, and he wants to buy their small company to make it more oriented to grow the business, and to make it into a export, to transform it into an export business. And it talks about how the sentiments of these old men that for their whole life have worked for their small family business, and then in the end they actually confirm the sale to that businessman. And the other one, I really like the intro of the song, because it's very, very typical from here. The theme of the music, the melody and that, and you will see it, because the music, it's very much from here. And
Good.
the beginning, I really like it. And it seems like those people, you will see they do the specific clapping that's very typical for the flamenco music here. And it really reminds you that people like go somewhere in the countryside, and I don't know, I have this image in my head that there is a lot of dust, and people going to the olive farms for me, or to any kind of farm, really.
Wow.
So I'll share those.
Oh, that'll be great to listen to. You said it's a music video?
Yeah, it's also a music video.
Oh, good. Well, thank you, Teresa. Christina, let us know a little bit about your project, and if you have something to share with us.
Okay, so my project is going to be about climate change, and I'm going to talk about like how climate change has affected the change of the seasons here in Cordoba. So I'm going to interview local people. I'm going to be like they get in the news. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to like ask them questions about if they have seen any change between the months where season starts or not. Because a lot of people told me that here in Cordoba, April was going to be like warm, yeah, that the other months, but it isn't. So I'm really curious about why, because yeah. So I'm going to do that. I have already choose like 3 people to interview them, but I want to also go like out to the streets and ask people there. I think that that is going to be funny. And yeah, so that's my project.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that I think the interviews are going to be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any art or music to share with us?
Yes, I choose this like paint that it's from let me, yeah, this one. Okay, so
Whoa.
yeah, that was my first impression. I really like to look into art, but new artists, because we learn a lot about Van Gogh and everything like him.
Hmm.
But there are a lot of new artists now that we should also be learning about. So this guy is from Portland. He has his studio there, and he paints a lot of things like this one, like nature with surrealism, and I really like it. So the first time I saw this one, I was like, oh my God, this is happening to Earth right now.
Oh my God, it's really, and it's interesting. The front of the horse that is all bones is hovering over the green part. I thought the green part, I thought it would be all dry there, but it's green underneath.
Mhm.
It's kind of like inverted. And those are those butterflies or birds?
I think that they are butterflies, but they
Yeah,
can be whatever you want. That's the good thing about art.
yeah. Oh, um, that is really interesting. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome. And I'm going to send you the song that I chose by the chat. And yeah, it's a Disney Channel song that I think that we all have like listened once. So
Oh,
enjoy it.
excellent. Great. Thank you. Um, Sophia, would you like to give us a little bit of it on your topic and then what you have to show us?
What I chose is the changes in the floristic patterns in the ocotillo flower and how it is related to the migrations of the hummingbirds. Hummingbirds in California, there are 11 types of hummingbirds, and in which 4 of them are migration avians, which means that they come from the south of Mexico all the way to California to mate and then go back. And it's around, basically these months, it starts around February, ends around beginnings of August. These birds, they depend in a lot of flowers and plants, but mostly they depend on a plant that is very typical and iconic of the desert of Sonora and the desert of California, basically. It's called ocotillo. Ocotillo right now is endangered species because not only people are taking it out, because it's also uses as ornament. Also, the climate change that is occurring around, it's changing their patterns, meaning that instead of blooming at the ending of February, when hummingbirds arrive, they're blooming before. Their patterns are being changed because of the heat. That way, the hummingbirds arrive when the peak of flowering is no longer there. Therefore, when they need to go back, the hummingbirds, there is not enough food for them to go back, and they basically starve because these kind of birds have the need of high quantities of food, because they metabolize food so fast because they are so tiny and they're always moving, continually moving. So my project, I want to focus it in the whole, in like the whole issue and the whole interdependence that this means between the birds and the flower in this relation, but it's not on that only one. When losing a cotillo flower, you're also impacting the social sphere, because there's people that depend on the hummingbirds and the pollinators to make their agriculture fields work. It also impacts another ecosystemal services, because there's a lot of pollinators that depend on that, and another mammals that live in the desert. For example, the desert rat and the coyotes, the owls, the eagles. There's a really complex web of a food chain, which is very beautiful. Well, beautiful. It's complex, but it's also well, the social, the economic, also with agricultural fields, political issues, because the government has banned people from taking ocotillo from the deserts, but still people do it, and there's a lot of ocotillo flowers in the market because it's kind of a staple plant. People sell it or try to look it, and they paid a lot of money, so people are willing to risk the fines that the government may put in order to earn money. So it's very interesting. It occurs basically in all the floristic province in California, which is basically all the coast, the west coast, and all the way down to Mexico. It's very beautiful. I got an artwork. Well, I don't know if anyone has questions.
No, go ahead and show us your art. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so what I chose, because hummingbirds in Mexico, they're like a kind of a staple thing, because it's very integrated in the cosmology of the Aztecs, all Tenochtitlan, and all the temples that are found in Mexico City are from Aztecs. So the story, more or less, very short tell, is that Coatlicue got pregnant magically by a hummingbird. How do you say pluma? By a hummingbird. One of these.
Feathers.
Yes, a hummingbird feather. So when Tezcatlipoca, which is her son, come out, he had the power of the hummingbird, because hummingbirds in their culture mean fertility and life itself. So whenever you see a hummingbird, you're being very lucky, because life is visiting you. So my partner was Tanay, and I think he gave a better explanation, I think, because how the skeleton is using the hummingbird to cover it, which means like the exploitation, and how the humans are ending with this kind of species, but also impacting everything that surrounds it. And it's really good. But I was thinking when I chose it is of all the background that exists behind this beautiful species, but at the end that we are all kind of interrelated in our core, that at the end we are made of the same thing, and there's no difference between being human and being a bird, and we all deserve the same respect, and that's it.
Wow. What is coming from the mouth of that skull? That looks like some kind of leaf or something.
I would think it's air, like the breath, because breath, it's like air, but also spirit. It's
spirit. That is really, this is also stunning. All of your artworks are so shocking, stunning. It's very good. Thank you, Sophia.
You're welcome. And the song I'll send you in a second, but it's one of those instruments of sound that sounds really beautiful. But yeah, I'm gonna send it to you in a second.
Yeah, send us the link so we can listen to it. That's great. How about Carla? How are things going with your topic and your art?
Okay, well, I'm pretty excited about my project because well, I have had the opportunity to talk about it with Teresita and Chris. So we were like sharing ideas, and we all are in Cordova. Same as Chris, we were told that here in April it was gonna be a hot weather, but this isn't happening. So no, it doesn't seem to. So then
I feel like you are all very disappointed.
yes. It's because it's really cold. I'm used to the spring, which all with all the flowers and stuff, and no, that's not happening. It's weird to me, but I'm excited because this gives me the opportunity to talk with my classmates. Like, since when this is happening? Do you know why it's happening? And my research lead to know that the government knows about this, so they have been doing like alternatives to change things, but they are not working. So also the European Union has efforts into it, like El Pacto Verde and stuff like that, but they are not working. So what I want to do is mostly share my concern with my people, well, the people that I know here. So they are the ones that actually can do something here, because something I remember Tanay and I don't remember who was my other partner told me that maybe that if I go to the government and I talk about it, they're gonna see me weird because I'm a foreign person here. Like, I can tell them what to do and how to do it, but I can encourage them to do something because it's their own town, the one that is actually suffering the consequences. So I want to do a video with all the information I found and all the things that I know that the government has done and why I think they haven't worked, what I think we could do, and that's mostly what I'm doing.
That's
Yes.
great.
And about the art, I don't know because I'm pretty bad at symbolism, but I found this image. How can I hear? Wait. Yes. I don't know if we can see it, but
Whoa.
I think it's weird because yes, that's kind of what I feel here in Cordova, because it's like all meats, mostly because of the meat seasons, because it's spring and it feels like winter. I don't know, like this kind of mess. It's what I think climate change feels, and and I think now it's pretty soon because we don't feel it that hard, but in some years that I think that's how the earth is gonna look if we don't do anything. So yeah, it's pretty sad. And
There are
about
two
the
cars.
song,
I see two cars that have crashed there, or they're in wrecked cars. There's a gas pump. Yeah.
is the also the trees are, I don't know how to say this in English, but se están secando, they're drying out, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's very stunning also.
About the song, I found two of them. One of them is from Michael Jackson, and he talks about, well, I think it's pretty known. It's called Earth Song, and that's where when I was a child, this song inspired me to actually wanted to change the earth, change something in the world. So I will recommend you to listen to it. And the second one is from a band named Wizard, and it's called Iceland in the Sun. And that's what I feel when I'm in with the nature, when I'm with trees and when I'm in the sea. So that's the feeling I want everyone to experience. And that's the world I want to, I don't know, my children to have, I don't know. So I would like you.
Beautiful. Oh, this is going to be so much fun listening to these songs. Thank you, Carla. How about Zarya?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, cool.
I can't see you.
Yeah, if I turn my camera on, my internet gets really, really slow, and then I can't hear you guys anymore.
Oh, okay, okay.
So my project, I'm like a little bit behind on my project just because things have been kind of crazy here. But my project is centered around the like religious and indigenous significance of plants here in Ecuador, and specifically like the medicinal uses of them. And so I'm going to be interviewing. I have a couple of professors who are botanists here, and they know a lot about the indigenous significance of these plants. So I'm going to be interviewing them and talking about the importance of conserving these plants, not just because, you know, they have like health impacts, like a lot of them have very important medicinal uses, but also because they're so valuable as like a source of spiritual connection. And that's something that I've always felt in my life. I feel very connected to plants, so I thought it would be really cool to explore that, you know, in a different country. So I'm going to be making hopefully a poster, but potentially a video if I decide that I want more visuals, talking about the importance of conserving these plants and you know, how they're significant to different groups here. And I'm also going to include illustrations that I've done of these plants for one of my classes, because that's something we've been working on all semester, is illustrating like botanical illustrations. So yeah, that is my project.
You're gonna have to excuse me if I have already mentioned that the book Braiding Sweetgrass to you. Sorry.
I love that book so much. That author is one of my favorites.
That is such a powerful book, and I talked to Sophia about it yesterday too. And it's. I talked to my students about it yesterday, and I brought some sweetgrass so the students could smell it and.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, last semester I actually had the opportunity to go to a Zoom seminar with Robin Walkhammer, where she was talking about, you know, her own exploration of plant science and indigenous spirituality and all of that, and it was amazing. She's really cool. But yeah, I love her.
Yeah, I love your project. Sorry, that is.
Thank you.
Hope that really, yeah. Did you have any art or music you would like to share with us?
Yes, I do have an art piece. Let me share. Okay, can you guys see that?
Not yet. Now we can.
Okay, cool. So this is a piece by a woman who is from an Indigenous tribe of Canada. And all of the plants and birds in this drawing are species that are either going extinct or are threatened in Canada. So these all have, you know, some significance to her in her life, and then there are also plants that are directly like in danger of going extinct, which I thought was really cool. And that's also sort of the focus of my project, as well as like preserving plants and biodiversity and stuff. So yeah, that's what that is.
That is just beautiful. And the birds, I see robins, and yeah, there's birds in there as well. And then it has that star background, like Sophia's with the hummingbird.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That is so cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Alejandra, would you like to give us a brief summary of your project and maybe some art?
Yes, of course. Hi.
Hi again.
My project is related to education, similar to Rahan. It's quite similar. Like all of you say, it's quite similar. Because in Indonesia, like the awareness of the environmental things is really low. Like they don't know, or some of them know but don't care. Of some of them are too lazy to do it, and there is happening so many problems, so many things that are kind of hopeless, because even you're trying to talk about these things with people and you're trying to make conscious, they, I don't know, like they just don't act, don't do anything. So that's why I want to make my project about environmental education, to try to have an impact in people, in different creative ways, so they won't feel that it's like something boring, but with like a lot of comparisons that make them like really aware, like how like complicated and crazy is all the environmental situation of this country, and that they can act. So that's like the second part, like making a background for them to know, and the second part is more for them to say like no, that they are some little actions that they can start you like start acting. I don't know, like recycling, or I don't know, going to thrift shops and buy second-hand clothes, or try to reduce. So they reduce the plastic, reduce the paper, reduce all the waste they are making, and all that stuff, something like that. That's like a really a small summary of my project.
That's
Mm,
great.
and thank you. And like I think that I don't know if I like I maybe misunderstood the instruction of that part of the module, but I didn't search for art. I made art. Well, not really art because I'm not that artistic person, but I just make a drawing. So I will show you my drawing. Well, it's not like the art of yours. Like it's not that amazing thing. It's just like simple drawings. But it's like this. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, wait, no. Yes, like this. So this is Indonesian. I don't know if you have ever seen the Indonesian country shape, but this is how Indonesia is. So this is the island of Sumatra, Java, Borneo. Here is Bali. Everyone knows Bali about Indonesia. That's why I'm telling you Bali. Well, there's a lot of islands. This is the island where I live. This is the island of Java. And like there are some problems. That's why it's like zoom. Like this is the place, and I make like a zoom in different problems that every island have. So if you, and here there is like a little bit announcement. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like we have to make a change now. And the drawings are like, for example, in Sumatra, there's a lot of animals like elephant, tigers, a lot of animals that they don't have food to eat because there's a big deforestation, so they don't have places to live. Or in Java, like because they don't recycle, the waste is like so big that is like I comparing the waste with the most big volcano. So this is like the biggest volcano, and I compare like the volcano with the waste of the island of Java. And in here there is like turtles that are like in the sea, like swimming with a lot of plastic, so they don't know where to go. And because it's real, like when people are fishing in here, they are like, when they open the stomach of the fish is full of plastic. So that's why I put that kind of drawing. And in here there is like a person, I don't know if you can see it, that he said like, I don't know, and so confused, like I don't know, something like that. So it's because like people in here don't really know, they are not aware about these kind of things. Like one really important example that I say to Michael the other day was like, for example, I talked to students that are from biology in here, and I told them about an eagle that is the eagle of Java, and I told them that is like really sad because they are just 7 now.
Oh,
So they will like, just 7, and they were like, oh really? 7 of the eagle of Java. Oh wow, I didn't knew. And they're studying biology. So I feel like they know a lot of things. Yes, I'm not saying that they're like bad biologists or something like that. No. But these things that are like really local and really important, they are not like that aware about them.
Hmm.
So that's those kind of, and they were like, wow, and that's happening to me all the time because I love like the biodiversity. So I make a big research about all the animals that are just from here and not in the like orangutan Borneo. I don't know if have you ever heard about it, but it's like a really, really weird animal, and it's just in here, just in Borneo Island, and well, a lot of different animals that are just from Indonesia, like the I don't know if you heard. This is really famous, like the bird of the paradise, no? That
Yeah.
make a beautiful dance to make the woman want to copulate with him. Well, things like that, and they don't know. Like they, when I was talking about them, they were not really aware about those things. So I think that's all related to education too, because I don't know.
When I was in Yogyakarta, I asked someone where I could go to see a Komodo dragon, because the Komodo dragon is the largest lizard and they have them in Indonesia. And the man said, well, you should see them at your zoo in Chicago because you maybe have more in your zoos than we have left in Indonesia. So there's many animals that they're losing. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yes, it's terrible, and they are not like really aware of that situation. So that's why my project is more related to that,
Yeah, very
and
good.
that's why I made the drawing.
Yeah, I love it. Could you take a photograph of it and send it to me?
Okay, but it's not really good drawing. Like
No,
I
I
just
love it. That's
okay.
really, you are artist too. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. Caro, can we hear about your topic? And
Yes. Also, my internet is not that good, but if my connection is not well, please tell me. But for now, I'm okay, right? Everyone can hear me all
yeah,
good. Okay, so I was telling the last session that I'm actually living in the same house with Natalie, which actually is in a work meeting, so she couldn't come. But our project it's related to the environmental volunteer that we're doing here. So after thinking what could we do, we actually decided to do something really specific that could seem easily, but it's actually really difficult, and it's been really difficult for the people which it's working on it to being able to do it, and that is to teach the students how to separate the residues, the trash properly, because they actually have a center like at the end of the residues chain where they derive all the trash that the university creates. But there are things that cannot be recycled if they're not thrown in the good way. Like if it's paper, but if it's wet, you can't use it. So certain things like that actually affects every day in the university. And we decided to do something very clear. It might be like an infographic that you could put in all of the trash cans. But it's actually we actually want to do first like an investigation, which is actually today we're going to at the food like the lunch hour, and try to see what are the types of trash that get more confused and the types of residues that they produce the most. And we actually develop a project which is called Bottles of Love, which is a project here in Colombia, which is Botellitas de Amor. And it's a project where you use plastic bottles. This one's really tiny, but usually they're bigger. And then you put inside all of the plastic residues that you can't recycle. And then you compress them until you make a really hard brick. And they actually use it to make construction. And it's a way to recycle things that you can't usually recycle. So we actually want to make a big one and put it as a test in the central cafeteria at university to see how students manage it. We would put it with clear instructions, and we will try to see if it works, so we can put it in many points of the school. The thing is, someone tells us, and it's actually not untrue, that sometimes students are really, well, they don't care enough, or they like they don't take care of it. So we want to do like a trial, so to see how it works, because she told us that people might throw other stuff that doesn't go in the bottle. So we're trying to do like really specific types of, not even like residues, types of candy or types of bag. Like you just put this bag that that we know that gets that they eat a lot. You just put that one in there, and we're trying to, well, yeah, develop those projects along with the other ones we're doing with the volunteering. But that ones would be like specific for this, well, yeah, for this project.
That's great. You're also, it's also environmental education. So many of us seem to be involved really in environmental education. It's great.
Yeah, and to image or music, Natalie actually showed me yesterday a really interesting video, but as soon as she's free, I will send it to you, to the group. I guess most of you have already seen it because it's really popular, but yesterday when we saw it, it became more relevant, like with all the news that's going on about the scientists that are manifesting all around the world. So yeah, I'll send it to you.
Great. Thank you. How about Paula?
Hi everyone. How are you? Great. I will first I want to say thank you for sharing like all those amazing projects. Like I was here just taking notes about like wonderful ideas. So well, I am going to present you my project. Right now I am in Kenya, in Africa, and it's a wonderful experience, like to meet like leaders of change in, well, in the country. So a few weeks ago, I went to a wonderful like fabric that transformed the plastic bottles that were, for example, in the trash can and all this, into new products to sell. And well, it's a huge and brilliant project that later on, if I have the possibility, I will tell you. But this makes me like feel like it's important to be aware of these plastics and how us yes, like use them. So well, like the topic of my project is basically like understand how much plastic is being used, like each person is using like per day, per week, per month, like to stop understanding also like that ourselves, like each human being is also impacting. Okay, this is, I think it's so Spanglish, but it's like each one is doing something right or wrong for our planet. So I am going to share with you like super quick the illustration, or well, like, can you see it?
Yes. Wow.
Okay. Yes. And basically that was my face when I start like realizing that in small things of my daily life, I was yes, like using more plastic that I expected. And also this remind me the part of the Magis course when we were talking about, if I am not mistaken, water, and we were talking well, and there was a question that was like, can fish see water, or can like, and yes, I think is a good opportunity like to start like involving people to change in a positive way. Yes, because at least, well, like the planet is in danger, but I think that we can still do things like, it's not just okay, so we are going to give up and that's it. But no, like I honestly believe that, for example, talking about young people, talking about kids, talking about parents, and also understand us, like I think that the best way to teach something to people is like, the people see your change, like see your life, see your example. So yes, like I am also challenging myself to say, okay, it's time to change some things. So well,
That's
this is my art.
wonderful. That's great, Paula. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. And our, I think, last one, Alejandra Salazar, are you still with us?
Yes, sorry, I arrived late. I was in another meeting. I'm sorry.
No problem.
And can you explain me what do I have to do right now, please?
Yes, if you could just give us a short description of your topic. And I don't know if you found any art piece that you'd like to share with us. If not, that's okay, but just something on what your topic is.
Okay, so I focus in the RIA, Subisuri, that it's here in Bilbao. It's like the main water resource. The water comes from the ocean, and around 1980s, there was a, I don't know the word, like inundación, that the water dropped in the city because there were a lot of uh, rains. And my project is about how global changing is affecting nowadays the water level, and what are the authorities doing to avoid this global changing affecting the water, and to avoid a new inundation in the city. So I couldn't find an image, but I really felt the global change right now because, for example, we are supposed to be now in spring, but there are days that you really feel the cold weather, and it feels like um, 4 degrees, and it's rainy and windy every day. So you can really feel the global change.
Mm.
And yes, that's basically my project, to investigate the global change in here.
Mhm. And was there an image that you were going to show us or not?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, no, that's fine. I think, okay, this was great. I love getting a chance to hear a little bit more about your projects. I think it helps for us to hear one another, to get ideas. So this has been great. We will be meeting on May 24th to see your presentations for your projects. So keep that in mind. Also, if you could send me your art piece, I'd love to be able to share those with my students. Also, if you can do that, that would be great. Now you could get into the third workshop now, and there's no tasks that you have to do in the workshop. There's no assignments in the third workshop. It's only steps to help you move from your project ideas and some additional ideas to complete your project. I think that is all. I'll be sending you the recording of this meeting, especially those that were not able to be here. And unless anyone has anything they'd like to add, I think we're done for now. And Rachel is going to look forward to seeing all of your artwork and presentations also. So keep her in mind, so she say a prayer for her so she gets better. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, thank you.
Okay,
Have a
thank
beautiful
you.
day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Okay,
Bye, thank you.
yeah, good.